All right, everybody. We're on page 75 of your captain's log. The next exercise that we're going to be doing is your reverse lunge. Okay? It's an extremely good and important exercise for strengthening the lower body and your hips. Just awesome. Okay? If you like to hike, if you like to do anything active, a reverse lunge is so good. Before I actually go into the form of the lunge, I want to tell you the difference between a forward lunge and a reverse lunge. I want you to think about a force, if you will, okay? Whatever that looks like in your head. Every force has a direction, whether it's a vertical, whether it's this way, whether it's that way. Whatever direction the movement is going, the force is going to be going in that direction, okay? Now, let's say that I do a perfect forward lunge, okay, with perfect form, and I'm going to step and come forward, okay? Let me give you a side view. I'm going to step just like this, knees above the ankle, but my force was moving forward, was it not? Even with perfect form on a forward lunge, what happens is that force has a direction and it's traveling forward towards your knee. Okay? So, for the most part, what I want you to think about is doing more of a reverse lunge than a forward lunge. Okay? I know a lot of sports and coaching require you to do a forward lunge, but when you have an option, you want to do a reverse lunge because what happens is force travels away from your front knee, okay? Big step. Just like that, okay? My force went behind me, going into my glutes, stinging my quads, going that direction, and is protecting this front knee, okay? Now notice, as I went down, I leaned just slightly forward. I'm not clear up here like this. What that's going to do is actually put too much pressure on the front of my hip flexor on this leg. So you don't want to lean back. You want to actually lean slightly forward over that leg, just like that, okay? You're going to go down far enough to where this part of your thigh is actually parallel to the ground. Back leg is really reached behind you, and your back knee slightly bent. I don't want you in here doing a lunge because that puts too much weight on the patellar tendon on your back leg, okay? Now, things to think about. When you are in a reverse lunge, I want you to pay attention to what your knees are doing and also to what your hips are doing. We'll start with hips. As you step back, I want you to think about your femur right here, up and down, going forward and back. Okay, now watch me. If I step, just like that, you can see my femurs here, and that femur's here. They're still even. Now if I went over here, now it's angled this way. This hip actually dropped. Okay, I'm going to lose my balance. That's why you want to have your legs right through your femur, straight up and down. Okay, kind of like when your arms are shoulder width apart like this. Not out here and not in here. Okay, same thing with your hips. Toe, make sure that you're not turned in. Your knee, don't let it turn in. What happens often, especially with women, is that you are taught to sit like a girl, right? So you're going to sit down, your knees are going to come in all proper, and over time, and also crossing your legs. For years and years and years and years of sitting like this, it's going to cause an overstretch in your hips, lower back, over tightening and shortening on the muscles of your inner thigh. Now, how does that relate or equate to an exercise? How does that carry over? What does that look like? As you step back, Your knee, if it's used to coming in by how you sit, your knee is going to go in, okay? You want your knee to track with your toe, just like this, okay? Just like that, straight up and down. Very, very, very important. One of the things you can do when you're first learning is to put a stick right in between your legs. You come forward here, and you can step just like that without bringing that foot on the other side. That's a great way to teach yourself, okay? Core's tight. You're going to notice on a lunge that you have to balance a little bit. It's a big step, okay? Very important. If you want to add a little bit of a difficulty to it, you can actually do it like this. Big step. Okay, now I'm on a rock right here, so my footing is not quite as secure as if I was on the ground. You don't want to actually do too much of a stutter step there like this. Okay, you want to actually do your best to go all the way back. Okay, just like that. All the way back. Okay, I made myself do it. Okay, but by bringing those arms up, what you're doing is your arms become an extension of your spine. And it's great for strengthening that posture and the postural muscles of your upper back. Okay? That's one way to make it more difficult. The other way, you can hold a little bit of weight. You can take a big step, rotate towards that hip, just like that. You can come up with the weight, big step, rotate towards that hip. Okay? A lot of different ways to do that. The reverse lunge is going to strengthen up that booty. Very, very, very powerful, powerful muscles of your lower body. Okay? So, work on that. And I also want you to pay attention to an exercise that I'm going to be showing you later that's an alternative to reverse lunges and squats for those of you that have had severe knee issues, reconstructive surgery of any kind, knee replacements, and there are some exercises that are even less on the knees than the reverse lunge. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this session, and have fun making those glutes and lower body nice and strong. We're going to move on to the next exercise. All right.